What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Dragon Ball Legends video on Dragon Ball Central. Today, we're going to be talking about the second anniversary celebration and what is going to be coming in the very near future to Dragon Ball Legends, most likely. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So first and foremost, I think it's really important to note here, we are about ripe for a huge amount of content being added to the game in some shape or form. Personally, I haven't really been let down too much by the second anniversary, mainly because I had a lot of content to catch back up on after coming back to the game after not playing it for about 5 months. But just to go over exactly what was the most impactful parts of the second anniversary celebration so far, I'm just going to go down a quick list. Super Saiyan God Shalit was added to the game, and it was a pretty awesome thing for them to do. Definitely a very powerful unit once transformed. I really like the way they're going with Shalit, and I think down the line, eventually, Shalit's probably going to be very competitively viable, considering right now, he's actually pretty decent in PvP if you have the right team around him, and down the line, he may even become more relevant than he is at this point in time. The Vegeto Blue banner as a whole was pretty awesome, to be completely honest. I think that both of the step-ups were really well done. I think that there are some very meta-relevant units on that, especially if you get them at a decent limit break. Even if you didn't get Vegeto Blue, you still got Merged Zamasu, you still got Raged Trunks, both of which are phenomenal, especially when limit broken a decent amount. You also had Omega and a new Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku, both of which, again, were very powerful on their respective teams and on the GT team. I think that all in all, those banners were really well done. They provided a lot of value, as I went over in previous videos. I think that they did a really solid job on them. But with that said, I do have some complaints. For starters, Vegeto Blue was obviously a little bit too dominant, and you guys have seen the past month, he's been kind of ridiculous to deal with. I mean, I got Vegeto Blue. I really enjoy playing him. I think he's a phenomenal unit to add to the game. The problem being that he's a little bit too phenomenal even at low limit break levels. Now obviously top rank PvP, where you have everything totally maxed out, just whaled out accounts, are going to be much different than your typical player in the top 10,000 or so. And in this case, obviously, Vegeto Blue is a little bit too dominant in that top 10,000 average player scenario. He has a few counters, but I say that with air quotes because he really can't be countered too well even by those counters. And if you have a few limit breaks on Vegeto Blue, you can even just straight up power through those counters by just attacking them over and over again with strike attack combos that are seemingly endless. I think it's also important to note that the newest green unit they've added to the game was on the same banner as Vegeto Blue in full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and he really doesn't counter Vegeto Blue very well. Again, I've been able to just push through ones that aren't limit broken a significant amount, and again, with a 2-star Vegeto Blue, a more limit broken one is going to have an easier time, even more so than that, pushing through some of these powerful enemies that it may have. And obviously, you can't go back in time to go ahead and summon more for Blue Vegeta when he did come out, because obviously that is going to be the main counter for this particular dominant meta, and in this case, I just don't think there are enough people that pulled him and have him at a significant limit break to actually justify putting Vegeto Blue in the game at the power level he's at. Now, going forward in time a little bit, we obviously recently got the Zen Chi Awakening on Super Saiyan Trunks. I think that a level 7 awakened Trunks would have been really fun to play if Vegeto Blue was never released. I think that he would be very dominant in the meta right now if Vegeto Blue was never released, but the asterisk on that obviously being Vegeto Blue was released and he's too good. Also, the insane reduction in price of Zen Chi Awakening as a whole as a system is absolutely amazing. I'm really happy about that. The unfortunate thing being that the first example we got in this new system is significantly lower in power level than previous Zen Chi 7 units, so we're kind of considering the fact that now they may have nerfed the power of a level 7 awakened unit, which would be very unfortunate because I gave them a lot of goodwill over this decision and I think it was an amazing choice. But if they just decide to nerf Zen Chi Awakening as a system as a whole in the future, that would kind of suck a lot. Another unfortunate thing about the second anniversary is we did not get a new Rising Battle with this one in particular. We got the boot camp back, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but the Rising Battle was totally absent this time around, and with base Vegito being what we had as an example for the first anniversary, I can't help but be disappointed that we didn't get a base Gogeta or something similar in this update. Obviously, it's looking like with the release of base form EX Gogeta, we're not going to be getting any more forms of him anytime soon, especially not in the free Rising Battle format. and I kind of doubt we're going to be getting any Rising Battle anytime soon, which is pretty unfortunate because it was an awesome event and gave you an awesome unit for free, and it built a lot of goodwill with the player base at the time, so it's unfortunate that they haven't chosen to go back and do that again. I hope I'm wrong. I hope one's coming soon, but I kind of doubt it. Now, moving on, this year's Summer Boot Camp is a little bit of a letdown as well. We got the entire EX Ginyu Force last year, and it was a really awesome event. I think pretty much all of us loved that event and thought that it was a really awesome way to introduce new EXs into the game that are actually pretty meta relevant and pretty fun to play. I actually remember back when they came out, we used them in the YouTuber Tournament of Power, and that was really fun, man. I really enjoyed that. But this year's event is a little bit of a letdown. They released a new Awakened equipment, which obviously could have been just a generic Super Warrior equipment, but unfortunately, it's to specifically go on EX Chaozu. So this equipment probably wouldn't have been used like back in the day when Chaozu first was released, you know, in the beginning of the game. But now, I mean, completely irrelevant, completely 100% irrelevant, not going to be used in any way, shape, or form by anyone except maybe people that are fans of Chaozu and Tien or YouTubers. They also time gated it, and I hate time gates so much, guys. I cannot express how little I like time gates in Dragon Ball Legends. It just makes me angry knowing that content is there, but not being able to access it because of some arbitrary decision to gate content to make it feel like they're putting more stuff into the game than they actually are. So how can they fix this problem? What's going to be coming up in the near future that I think is going to be a big deal, big enough that it makes up for the lackluster second anniversary celebration in the eyes of many? Well, obviously, I've already mentioned this, but a new Rising Battle would go a long way in making people happy about the second anniversary celebration. I doubt it's going to happen again, but I'd be pretty happy about it, and I know a lot of people would be pretty happy about it too. Additionally, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say a new Lineage of Evil unit that is green is going to be coming out in the very near future. With the Zen Chi Awakening Trunks God, he is very, very good against Lineage of Evil as a whole. Obviously, they want to make sure that as many teams as possible are relevant in the current meta to incentivize people to continue to summon. With how Dragon Ball Legends releases units, it always sort of goes in a rock, paper, scissors, poison, and cure type of strategy, which is something I've sort of discussed in previous videos a long time ago. In this case, I think we're going to be having 3 units that sort of go in that pseudo rock, paper, scissors strategy, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that right now. First off, obviously, Vegeto Blue, okay? That's like just the rock, okay? Because it just beats people over the head like somebody holding a big rock. Scissors is going to be hybrid Saiyans or Super Saiyans, especially going to be made relevant if we do see the Zen Chi Awakening for Super Saiyan Bardock at any point in the near future, because then it's going to be Super Saiyan Bardock and Super Saiyan Trunks, who's going to be Zen Chi Awakened as well, and then a third member that is yet to be seen can probably be sort of a flex spot. But obviously, unless you use a green unit on that team, then Vegeto Blue is just going to smack them down, which makes them the scissors in this scenario. Now, who exactly is going to be the paper in this scenario? Well, I think it's going to be the green Lineage of Evil unit, because that's going to be directly countered by the passives and general buffs that you see on Super Saiyan Zenkai Trunks. And in this case, it would also be a very good counter for the rock, which would be Vegeto Blue. I think there are a few other tags that it could probably fit into, but all in all, I have to say that a new Lineage of Evil unit feels very, very likely to me in the near future. Now, as far as who it could actually be, I'm not entirely sure. We are obviously missing a few forms of Lineage of Evil units that we don't have in the game at this point that have been put into Dokkan and have been very, very hyped units. So I have to imagine at some point they're going to get added to Legends, but we'll just have to see. But they're obviously going to want to give people a reason to Zenkai Awaken Trunks and to counter Vegeto Blue. And I think that this satisfies both pretty well. One other thing I want to mention as far as the insane amount of content they could be adding to the game is a new function in guild versus guild battles, making it so you actually physically go into battles against enemy guilds. And I think that could be a really, really fun thing to add to the game, give a lot more meaning to the whole function of guilds as a whole, because right now they're fun, but guild battles are kind of just I mean, they're not amazing. They're kind of just a passive thing, you know? Obviously, more active gameplay is always going to be appreciated by the hardcore players of this game, and I think that this is the perfect opportunity for them to add that. Now, when exactly is all of this going to happen, or is most likely to happen anyways, in my opinion? Personally, I think July 7th is the most likely time for a new update that's going to be absolutely game-breakingly massive. I know that's only a few days out, but hear me out on this. A lot of game developers start to take it easy around July every year. You're going to notice a huge update early in July, and then they're going to sort of take it easy moving into the rest of the month. This can range from mandatory vacation time, which is obviously a thing in quite a few countries, as well as a more self-serving goal, which is just making the revenue as high as possible early on in the third quarter of the year. So yeah, I'd be absolutely shocked if we didn't have a major content update coming sometime in the next 2 weeks. With how lackluster the second anniversary ended up being in the beginning, I have to imagine that with the whole situation going on around the world right now, that maybe they had to throw some time frames out the window. Maybe they had to push things back that they wanted to add for the second anniversary right away. And in this case, I think that stuff may be added very, very soon to start off the third quarter, maybe just a few days from now. So we'll have to see, but that's going to be about it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. As always, have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, peace.